Imagine you are in a deadly gunfight with insurgents and you get wounded with multiple gunshots directed at your chest, arm, and a grenade blast that explodes on your right foot and blows a portion of your leg. The word painful won't justify your suffering. In the midst of your agony, you realize that there are also two children who are critically wounded in the crossfire and that they need medical attention immediately. A chopper has arrived to pick you up. You know that you are going to taste death for sure if you don't board the chopper. And your condition is something like this. What will you do? This is the most badass operation by Indian Army, but for a completely different reason. Watch till the end to know why. Hello everyone, welcome to Resonant News. Northeastern India was till recently the most ignored part of India and often the most misunderstood too. This story is not just about the Indian Army, but also about the love that Northeasterners shower at our forces who protect them. The story starts with a gunfight in Manipur 27 years ago. In 1994, Captain DPK Pillai, a young platoon commander of 8th Guards, was tasked with hunting down a group of hardcore NSCN IM insurgents who were planning to blow up a vital bridge and communication tower to hamper troop movement in Manipur. After 4 days of searching through the jungles, the hideout was tracked to a remote and isolated village called Longdi Paburum in Tamenglong. In the 3 hours long firefight that followed, a few militants were killed while a couple were apprehended. In the exchange, Captain Pillai had been grievously injured. He had taken a bullet to the chest and 3 to his forearm. A grenade had exploded over his foot and he suffered a spinal fracture too. All in a day's work for a soldier, you could say. But what happened next might just surprise you. As he lay grievously bleeding, waiting for a helicopter to evacuate him, Captain Pillai noticed two children, a boy and a girl, who had been wounded in the crossfire. Captain Pillai had a choice to make, and he made it without any hesitation. He commanded his troops to ensure that the two children were airlifted to medical help before him. Lying in a pool of blood, barely conscious, Captain Pillai also extracted a promise from his platoon not to seek revenge from the village in case he died. He was 26 years old then. When asked why he chose his course of action, Captain Pillai said, "First thing that came to my mind as a trained soldier was the safety of children and all others. I trained to sacrifice my own life and comfort for my people and my country, who always come first. I always knew I was not amongst enemies, but my own brothers and sisters." Captain Pillai was evacuated an hour later. Miraculously, he lived to tell the tale. For displaying exemplary courage under fire, the young captain was conferred a Shaurya Chakra in 1995. But Longdi Paburum village didn't know about it. The village had begun to respect the man who saved the children, putting his life at risk, and felt indebted to him. But they were not sure if their hero was alive or not. Meanwhile, as Captain Pillai rose up the ranks in army, he wondered what happened to those children. He didn't even know their names. He got a chance to find out about it 14 years later. Captain Pillai by then was Colonel Pillai, who had chanced upon a friend commanding a brigade in Tamenglong, who sent a patrol to Longdi Paburum. That is how the village found out he was alive. The village headman confirmed that the children had survived and the village wanted a reunion. Colonel Pillai went to the village once again, where he almost died. The grandmother of the house welcomed him with open arms, weeping between words of gratitude he did not understand. But he knew he was home. The two children, whom he had last seen with blood streaming down their skin, were now young adults. Later in 2021, he also attended the marriage of the boy. And then there was the insurgent who had lobbed a grenade at Colonel Pillay, almost costing him his leg, came out and hugged him. They had both come close to killing each other all those years ago, but that day all was forgiven and forgotten. The insurgent had surrendered, inspired by Captain DPK Pillay's sacrifice. In an unusual show of respect, Colonel Pillay and his children were adopted by the village and given land and voting rights. The villagers now call him Pillay Pamay. Pamay is the surname of the people of Zeliang Rong community who live in the village. From his side, Pillay Pamay had moved mountains to do whatever he could to give back to his new clan. This included getting the new 100-kilometer national highway from Manipur to Nagaland to pass through their village, ending their isolation, and distributing solar lights for free to the villagers. Nothing could have been more heartwarming than this story, we thought. When we spoke to Colonel DPK Pillay, he said, "Today the village loves me more than my family. When I fell sick recently, they sent a person to me. This is a bond which I cannot define.